Skin and Heart Away Southern T. Back with another EP. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy when you roll on in. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time. Greatly appreciate it if y'all could jab that thumbs up for your boy. Hey, I'm here with, I actually talked about this before, right? This ain't my first time, you know what I mean, talking about this. This actually ain't, right? Rather how we may feel about brother Conor Benn and whatnot. This actually isn't Conor Benn's first time, you know what I mean, beating down this bush, right, going up this alley, right? And I say this at first, right, when it first happened, I was all for it, right? And then Conor Benn, kind of had his incident, right? And then, after Conor Benn have his incident, it get real hard, right? To take Conor Benn serious as a fighter in the sport, it get real hard, right? As a fan of Conor Benn, right? If you're a fan of Conor Benn, it get real hard, to sell people on Conor Benn and what he's saying and what he's doing, right? And rightfully so, right? There's no room in the sport for cheaters, especially steroid users, PED takers, right? It's already, a combat sport. It's already a combat sport, right? It's already dangerous enough. It's already, enough to be lost in this sport where we don't need any unfair advantages. You know what I mean? In this sport, right? But Conor Benn is a guy that I have taken the liking to, right? I've been watching Conor Benn, for a minute now, right? I seen Conor Benn basically go from barely being able to throw a jab, right, to going on a couple, like 3, 4 fight knockout streak, right? Him finding himself, him finding his punch, right? And then now you got to ask yourself with what's going on now. Did Conor Benn really find his punch, right? Or was that was that a steroid, thing with Conor Benn, right? So it's real murky on Conor Benn right now, right? But this isn't his first time, you know what I mean, saying that he wouldn't mind fighting Jaron Ennis. This isn't his first time saying that he wanted this Jaron Ennis fight, right? I did a couple EPs on this. Uh the thing with Conor Benn, right? The thing with Conor Benn, right, is Conor Benn, he needs to fight somebody. Conor Benn needs to come on over here, to America, right? A lot of people kind of feel like Conor Benn, you know what I mean? And that was pre, right? And that was pre Conor Benn, you know what I mean? Steroids. Now, right? Too many people don't even care for Conor Benn at all. But rather we, want to accept it or not, right? Or rather, we realize it or not, right? Conor Benn is still ranked as one of the top welterweights in that division, right? And I'm not gonna lie, deep down in the back of my mind, right? Deep down in the back of my mind, the pit of my stomach, I really do still want to see, Conor Benn want to see Conor Benn succeed isn't the right word, right? I really do want to see if Conor Benn is what I thought he was. Right now, it's a even more of a different feel around it, right? Is Conor Benn what I thought he was, or is it the steroids, right? Uh, Whether you believed in Conor Benn before, the steroids or not, right? You will have to say that, before he got caught, right, Conor Benn was starting to look really good. Now, instead of us just having to ask, oh, well, is Conor Benn the real deal? We got to ask, is the improvement that we seen from Conor Benn really, Conor Benn, or is what we seen from Conor Benn, the steroid and the PEDs, right? But Conor Benn, he said something interesting again, right? He put this on social media. He said this via social media. He said this via, his own Twitter account, right? The rumor and the stories about Conor Benn. I'm a real Conor Benn fan, right? I ain't just one of these dudes who fish for news, right? I'm a real actual, Conor Benn fan. This won't be my first time talking about this, right? But Conor Benn, he said this via his personal Twitter, right? The rumor has been that, it's been Chris Eubank Jr. It's been Chris Eubank Jr., Manny Pacquiao. You know what I mean? Fights like that. Kell Brook, right? Kell Brook, Chris Eubank Jr., Manny Pacquiao. It's been fights like that, right, for Conor Benn, right? Those have been the rumors. I'm guessing, Conor Benn is growing a little agitated. Now, people think that Conor Benn is on a suspension, which is true. He is on the suspension right now. Exactly. That's right where I'm at with it. Right? I'm getting there. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy when you roll on in. 8 people in the building. I got 9 likes. Y'all help get your boy right. Right. Conor Benn is getting anxious, right? He's getting anxious about not having a fight. Now the feel is right. Conor Benn is suspended. Now, while that is true, right? Conor Benn is suspended, but Conor Benn isn't suspended in America. Conor Benn could still fight as many fights at any time he wants to fight in America. What happened with him is that the British Board of Boxing Commission, although he's not suspended in America, in his homeland, they decided to suspend him due to the public perception. So he has been suspended in the UK, but you being suspended in the UK doesn't have any effect on your fights over here in America, right? Via a la Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury was actually banned from having fights over in the UK for some time, right? But he was still allowed to come over here and fight in America. So Conor Benn is still eligible and able to fight in America, right? So him calling out Jaron Ennis again, if you really think about it, as far as that tip go, right? It's not just blowing smoke, right? But I digress. So my thing is, my feel is that Conor Benn is starting to get a little antsy, right? He's starting to get a little antsy, right? He's starting to get a little impatient with the Chris Eubank situation or contract negotiations or whatnot, right? So Conor Benn took it upon himself to go to Twitter, right? And he directly tagged Chris Eubank Jr. And he was like, yo, Chris Eubank Jr., what's up? Is the fight still on? And then he said, if I can't fight Chris Eubank Jr., right, which is what got me here, Conor Benn said, if I can't fight Chris Eubank Jr., then I would want to fight Jaron Ennis, right? And again, I'm starting to, I'm hearing Conor Benn when he say this right now. When you first said right, people could say, well, kick me out, my bad, right? When you Conor Benn, right, and you say it the first time, right, people could kind of look over you, right? People could say, well, it was just Conor Benn, he just blowing smoke, right? And then after you Conor Benn, you pop 30 for steroids, right? People say, well, see, you pop 30 for steroids, Conor Benn, the joke, I don't believe him, right? But y'all know that when those guys get suspended, even retroactively, it only takes about 6 months before they back in the ring. Conor Benn wasn't even suspended in America, right? So when Conor Benn goes to say things like this, you really do got to take it serious. Like he's constantly saying, he's constantly saying it. No, I can't keep hearing, right? We all looking for, Jaron Ennis an opponent, right? Jaron Ennis just for the guy named Chuck Dejan, right? Nobody was searching, nobody was checking for Jaron Ennis versus Chuck Dejan, right? You know what I mean? Now we can feel how we want to feel about Conor Benn, right? And we can feel how we want to feel about Jaron Ennis, whether that's a pro or whether that's a con for you, right? But we can't say that Jaron Ennis, like my guy, 8A Sports just said, my Jaron Ennis is in need for a big fight. And like I alluded to earlier, Conor Benn is a household name. You know what I mean? Conor Benn is a household name. He is a highly ranked fighter in most boxing divisions, right? So when you got Conor Benn going to his personal Twitter account, right? You got Conor Benn going to his personal Twitter account, right? And calling Jaron Ennis out. And guys like me who know that this isn't his first time calling Jaron Ennis out, right? And now We know that Jaron Boots Ennis is a bad boy. We know that Jaron Boots Ennis is next up. We also know, like, for years on years, what's been the feel around Jaron Boots Ennis. It's been hard for him to get a fight. It's been hard for him to get him fight. Well, you know what? I know a couple guys. Well, I don't know many people, right? But I do know a couple guys who called out Jaron Boots Ennis, right? Eubank being one, Conor Benn being one, right? And there was a third guy. He elude me right now, and I don't want to allow him Jaron like that. But I know it was about three guys. I know Conor Benn being one, and Eubank being one, and Jaron Boots Ennis has yet to fight either three of those guys, right? Now the feel around Jaron Boots Ennis is, well, nobody wants to fight him. He beats everybody, right? But again, that's just a thought. That's just how we feel. At some point, Jaron Boots Ennis is going to have to get in there, and he's going to have to fight, one of these guys. Right now, we can say, well, he could be Bud, he could be Earl. We could say we want to see him against Bud. We want to see him against Earl. And it may be true. We probably do want to see him. But right now, Earl and Bud got Earl and Bud problems, right? They're about to fight one another. Now, I was alluding to, we just saw him fight a guy named Chuck Adesian, right? Now, you could feel however you want to feel about Chuck Adesian, good fighter, bad fighter, whatever. Nobody's really checking for him, right? That's not going to be the fight. That's going to make us, that's going to make the people, right? Not the diehards, because we already know Jaron Boots Ennis is the real deal, right? But that's not, the Chuck Adesian fight is not going to be the fight. They get the people going. They get the people out their seat. But you know what, Will? If I'm Jaron Boots Ennis, right? And then you got Conor Benn, like, this is like multiple times, not just one time. Not just multiple times. I mean, not just one time, but multiple times, right? You know what I mean? Calling out Jaron Boots Ennis. You know what I mean? So now we could keep saying, man, Conor Benn, Conor Benn can't mess with Boots. You know what I mean? Boots beat everybody, right? We could keep saying that, but at some point, we're going to have to get Jaron Boots Ennis to answer one of these calls. And my thing is, why not start, with this Conor Benn thing, right? And I say that because one, if I'm Jaron Boots Ennis, let's think bigger picture, right? So Conor Benn on steroids, right? You got to be careful, right? He's coming right back off, the steroid allegations. That man ain't finna get caught with steroids, coming right back off a fight. So even if he was doing the steroids, right, he done at this point, right? You know what I mean? You gotta believe that he done, because if he get caught again, that's almost career suicide. They get caught back to back with back to back fights, right? So I'm pretty sure Conor Benn gonna be on all kind of strenuous testing everywhere. Y'all should make sure of it, right? If you agree to do that fight. Also, now Conor Benn, whether we like him or not, he has a huge fan base over there in the UK. He's one of the more popular fighters over there in the UK. Before the steroid thing, he might have been one of the most beloved fighters over there in the UK. Still, nonetheless, he's one of the most popular fighters over there in the UK, right? You beat Conor Benn, that's a whole different side, you know what I mean, on Jaron Boots Ennis. You know how those guys in the UK pack out those stadiums. Just ask, Bud Crawford. He was just saying not too long ago how he always wanted to fight in the UK in front of that 100,000. How he always wanted to fight in the UK in front of that 100,000. You know what I mean? So the UK, that'll be good for Bud Crawford's imagery. Also, Conor Benn being ranked high in the WBC, WBA, WBO, and all those, right, sanctioning bodies. They also work for your rankings in the in the 147-pound division. You know what I mean? Type deal. And right, it's starting to look funny, right? You got Conor Benn constantly calling your name, constantly calling for you, right? And you can't just keep saying these guys don't want to fight. These guys don't want to fight. And then, you go and you fight guys like Chuck Adesian, right? You know what I mean? Because if Conor Benn comes to saying he wants to fight and you could make these fights with, guys like Chuck Adesian, then I think, it look kind of funny, right? You saying nobody want to fight Jaron Boots Ennis, but you got guys calling out Jaron Boots Ennis and fights not getting made. At some point, I think, one of the a big fight must be made for Jaron Boots Ennis. That Errol Spence and that Bud Crawford fight is just not in the works right now. You know what I mean? So we just go sit around, right? So we just go sit around and wait for what? You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure Boots has a fight coming up, right? It's not going to be against I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be against maybe the level of a guy like Conor Benn, right? If we not gonna argue the level, right? I can most definitely say it's not gonna be against a guy the name of Conor Benn, right? The cachet of Conor Benn, right? So if Conor Benn, he's constantly asking for this fight, right? He's constantly asking for. I say, man, at some point, Jaron Boost Ennis, then, man, they gotta address it. They gotta at least call his bluff. You know what I mean? They gotta hit Eddie, or they gotta, do something. You know what I mean? But you can go to Conor Benn's Twitter right now. You know what I mean? Conor Benn's Twitter right now. Conor Nigel, right? Hey, Chris Eubank Jr., he said, we getting this fight done or what? He said, if not, Ben versus Jerome Boost Ennis next. And he put top 5 in the world, meaning that that's a fight between 2 of the top 5 guys in the world. I'm about to show y'all the tweet, so y'all don't got to take my word for it. I'm killing that right now, but let me show y'all this thing, so y'all don't got to take my word for it, right? You can go to Conor Benn. You can go to Conor Benn's Twitter, right? Oh, wait, I'm on the wrong thing. I'm on my timeline. My bad. I'm on my timeline. You can go to Conor Benn's Twitter, right? You can go to Conor Benn's Twitter. You can see him tag Chris Eubank Jr. He said, we getting this fight done or what? Then you see him say, if not, Ben versus Jerome Boost Ennis next. Top 5 fight in the world. You can see Jerome Boost Ennis blue, Chris Eubank blue at the top. Conor Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank Jr., we getting this fight done or not? If not, Conor Benn versus Jerome Boost Ennis, top 5 fight in the world, right? So you got, you got Conor Benn, doubling, tripling down, right, on wanting to fight Jerome Boost Ennis. You know what I mean? He's at Ben or Speedy Rasheed Ellis. At this point, I kind of don't want to see him fight, Speedy. Not right now, right? If he gonna fight Speedy, I want to see him fight Roman Villa. I want to see him fight Roman Villa or Conor Benn. At this point, I think Conor Benn makes the most sense for him as far as marketability wise, right? And I could pull up, right? The multiple number of times Conor Benn has came at, you know what I mean, Jerome Boost Ennis. Now I know he's a dude, right? But this don't nobody want to fight him. This everybody ducking him. This Jerome Boost Ennis is next up, and I can see how you can say, well, for the people that say, right, well, Conor Benn ain't nobody. The guy that he about to fight next, the last guy that he fought, right, the guy that he fought before that, right, none of them are, the cachet of Conor Benn. None of them are ranked as high as Conor Benn. You know what I mean? Like, honestly. And I'm a biggest Jerome Boost fan as anybody, right? But I do want to see Jerome Boost Ennis take that step up fight, take that next level fight. Well, Conor Benn in the step up fight. Well, Conor Benn is a fight that makes sense. Chuck D's and damn sure not a step up fight. You know what I mean? So if you go take lateral moves, right, you might as well lateral move, into Conor Benn. But Conor Benn, most definitely, right, if you're looking at it on the grand scheme of things, right, the stage that fight will be on, right. At some point, right, let's just say this, right, because this is a Jerome Boost in this EP, right. Let's just say this. At some point, all the fighters that we, love today, that we cheer for today, right, that we want to watch today, at some point, what did all of them do, right? What did all of them do? At some point, they went over to the UK and they took something. They went over to the UK, they took a belt. They went over to the UK, they took somebody's heart. They went over to the UK, they took somebody's spirit. They went over there. They went to Mexico. They went somewhere, right? They went in somebody's backyard. They went to Australia, right? They went somewhere. They went to somebody's backyard, and they took their cookies, right? I think it's time that Jerome Boost Ennis go over there and he take Conor Benn cookies. Conor Benn been talking about this too. He said Ben must still be on the juice. He too comfortable. Now I'll tell you, this ain't Conor Benn first time. You know what I mean? And I get it. It's gonna be hard to take me serious right after the steroid thing. But I'm telling you, before the steroid thing, this ain't his first time saying this. Think about it, Tay. You didn't see me here before at us with Conor Benn saying that he want to fight Jaron. Now Jaron saying them boys don't really want them boys just talking stuff, right? I feel it, but Conor Benn again said he want to fight Jerome Boost Ennis. He said if I can't fight Chris Eubank, then Jerome Boost Ennis. My thing is, bro, at some point they gotta address this, bro. They gotta go actually highly do. They gotta go highly do it, man. You know what I mean? And I can hear people say, well, you know, Conor Benn ain't this, he ain't that. Well, he is ranked in the top 5 welterweights in the world. That's what he's saying, right? That's why he got that top 5 in the world symbol, right? Bro, dang it, like somebody, you know what I mean? Somebody, Conor Benn, Roman Villa, at some point you should want to just shut Conor Benn up, right? Because if I'm noticing this ain't his first time, right? Right? It's people over there that's noticing this on his first time because you go to his shit. He said, "Nah, I remember if they can make it happen, they should. They need to start testing now, though." Yeah, in fact, I had said that before, TD, right? And you got Conor Benn, he constantly calling Jaron Boots in his name, man. Like constantly. I'm starting to believe, like at first, right? You know, when he first said, you could take it as a joke, right? When he first said, right, the second time he said, you like, okay, well, you know, Boots didn't got to say something, and Boots did, right? He was like, these guys don't really want to fight. These guys just be talking. You send them the contract, you know what I mean? They turn it down, right? But now you got him throwing this back out there in the air. If Jerome Boots Ennis don't got a better fight, right? If he don't got a bigger fight, and I know what we gonna say. Well, he won't Bud, he won't Earl, and I get that, man. But that's gonna happen. That's gonna be at least another year from now. Earl and Bud got at least 2 more fights left. What is Jerome Boots Ennis gonna do in the meantime? A lot of these guys, right, that's been pushing for these fights. Um, at some point, you know, realization got to kick in, right? You got to realize right now I ain't gonna get it. Shakur with the Devin and Tank fight, right? You know what I mean? He got to realize that I might not get that right now, right? With Jerome Boots Ennis and Bud Crawford and Earl, they got 2 more fights. You know, he got to start. He got to realize at some point, man, I might not get that right now. You know what I mean? So what's the next best thing for you to do? The next best thing for you to do is start taking out the competition, right? What you mean? Where the competition at, right? You gotta look at the ranking system, right? You look at the WBA, you got Stanonis, you got Virgil, right? You look at the WBC, right? You got Conor Benn, you got Keith Thurman, right? You know, you start taking out the competition. You number 1 in the IBF, right? You look at the WBO, you got Alexis Rocha, you got, you know, guys like that, right? In the WBO. David Avenesian, right? Guys like that. You start taking out the competition. Conor Benn is one of the top 5 ranked welterweights in the world. He constantly calling your name. Everybody constantly telling me you're a beast. And I agree, you are a beast, right? But also, I see you got 30 plus fights and you don't have a fight against nobody that we really know just yet, except for Sergio Lipinets, right? And he came up from 140 to 47. And I ain't knocking that, right? But your resume is looking real light. You know what I mean? You got Lipinets, right? He's a foreign guy anyway, right? You add Conor, the resume looking real light, right? You add Conor Benn, then that resume kind of does start the whole weight. You start to give us names to say. You got Lipinets and you got that Conor Benn head, right? Now, I say, right, if you're going to fight Conor Benn, right? Josh Sanders, what's good, Josh? If you're going to fight him, it's best to go and fight him now while he still can be taken seriously. He hasn't lost yet. He popped 30 for the steroids, right? But he hasn't lost a fight yet, right? So he still can be taken seriously as a competitor. You would still be the guy that exposed him or that showed us what he really was, right? Or that proved him wrong. That would be your mentor, right? And the stage that you could do it on over there in the UK, it'd be a plus for you. You know what I mean? Teddy said, I'm at the point where I'm frustrated with Boots. He has no engine for his peers, just a champion. I want him to step on shit until he get his shot. Folks feel like they want to play it safe. Yeah, something like that. You know what I mean? It's like that's kind of where I'm getting at. Like that's kind of starting to be the feel for me. You know what I mean? That's kind of God damn. That's kind of starting to be the feel for me. Like, man, I know you the real, but at some point, you know, you gotta prove it, right? And I know he ain't afraid to prove it at all. You know what I mean? But he's getting to that point, like, gee, you gotta prove it, right? You know what I mean? Somebody, a lateral guy, like I don't want to see you keep fighting, you know, Chuck E. D's and stuff like that. And I could look at you. I could look at you right until you got the goods. I could look at you right until that you got the best. Right? I could look at you and tell you will be a problem for any man walking, right? But for you just for guys to call you out, and for you just to be like, I know who the third guy was. They called him out. Now, y'all remember, bro? It was Jaron Ennis called him out, right? And that fight, never happened. Not saying he afraid to fight Jaron Ennis or nothing like that, right? But Jaron Ennis, the feel for Boost is right. Nobody wants to fight Jaron Boost Ennis. He the boogeyman and all that, and I get that, right? It is some truth to that, right? But there have been a select few guys that called him out, right? And the select few guys that called him out, the fights, haven't happened, or he kind of brushed them off like, man, don't take them guys serious. Like, don't believe them. Them guys don't really want to, you know what I mean? Then he end up when he go and fight somebody that, we never really heard of, right? And now you got Conor Benn, who multiple times, right? This is on multiple occasions, right? Who has called him out. And no matter how rather you feel about it, right? At some point, you got to answer some of these calls, right? Because you got Ugas, you got Ugas that you got Ugas, you know what I mean? They hit him up. You got Ugas that hit him up, you know what I mean, wanting to fight. And I can't remember exactly what happened then, but they ended up going a different way, right? Both parties ended up going a different way, right? I think he said Ugas didn't have a belt or something like that at that time. AB, the IT was good. And then you had Blur Cobb, right? Blur Cobb was the other guy outside of Conor Benn. It was three guys, right? I couldn't think of that third guy earlier, but now I remember that third guy. Was good. Josh, shout out my guy, Josh TWT in the building. My guy AB the 8 IT. What's good with y'all, good folks? Appreciate y'all sliding through, right? So I said your name is Ugas and Conor Benn, but Blur Cobb was the other guy. And I'm not saying that Blur Cobb could beat him at all, right? I'm not saying that any of these guys could beat him, period, right? But what I'm saying is, in the meantime, between time, we believe that you are on Earl and Bud level, right? But Earl and Bud, they got their own business to take care of. So these guys, like a lot of these guys don't want to fight you. A lot of these guys don't call your name. A lot of these guys don't call your name, right? But for the guys that do, I think those are the guys, right, that you need to, get in the ring with and fight. You know what I mean? Especially, when it's an end game to it, when you actually got, something to gain from it. And Conor Benn, right? Whether you feel like you could sweep him, whether we feel like you could sweep him, he's a big enough name, right? Y'all are on the same level, nonetheless, at least, right? Two top 5 ranked welterweights. The feel around boxing is that if those belts were to go vacant, right, you two will get your hands on them. You know what I mean? At some point, right? For the most part, when you rank the top welterweight prospects, right, you get to Virgil, you get to Conor Benn, you get to Jaron Boost Ennis, right? Those the guys that we think are gonna get the belts. That's the feel around boxing, right? So it ain't like Conor Benn is just some Rudipool, and he got a name, He said Ben trying to come back and kill some dreams, right? AB, you gotta really think about it. AB, like this ain't his first time saying this, right? You know what I mean? You gotta start to take him serious after a certain amount. Even with Keith Thurman on that Earl Spence fight, right? At some point, we had to start taking Keith Thurman serious. Like, okay, man, so if he really do get this Earl fight, right? Then Earl said it'd be at 54, right? So, at some point, you got to take him serious. You got to start adding it up and calculating if you Jaron Boost Ennis, because you're not going to be able to push, I'm the boogeyman. Nobody want to fight me. I'm the best fighter in the world, right? If you got guys like Conor Benn, who tagging you on Twitter, who tagging your name and stuff, meaning you see it, right? We know you see it because he tagged you in it. Like, we can see that you see it because he tagged your name in it, right? And you're not responding. And then when people ask you about it, your response is, well, those guys don't really want to fight. Well, if they don't really want to fight at this point, man, you got to call their bluff. You got to smoke them out. You know what I mean? And honestly, and I said this from the beginning, I don't think Conor Benn is one of the guys, right, who's calling your name that don't really want to fight. I really and truly believe that whether he will win or not, right, Conor Benn will get inside of that ring with you. You know what I mean? Conor Benn is adding up the plus and minuses, right? It's a risk, right? But in his mind, it's a calculated risk. The field is starting to be, for Boost is like my guy just said, like him and his team, they don't really want to take no chances up until they get, to the top, right? Or they don't want to take any chances, unless they have to. I'd be surprised if any of them He calling out, take that fight, too risky. The thing is, man, the thing is, man, if we could make if they could make fights with regular degulars, right? If they could make fights with regular degulars, right? Then at some point, man, Conor Benn, I feel like, bro, if Conor Benn is bluffing right, if Conor Benn is clout chasing, you gotta stuff him out at this point, man. You gotta stuff him out because you're not gonna be able to sell to me, right? At least to me, right? Not to Southern T. You're not gonna be able to sell to Southern T that he the boogeyman. Nobody want to fight him when I could see dudes, on record constantly asking about him. You know what I mean? Uh, I ain't seen my brother D Free today, right? But my brother D Free said something the other day, right, about Regis Prograis and Matias. My brother D Free said that he'll be a little disappointed in Regis Prograis if he don't fight Matias sooner than later. Because Regis Prograis, the thing Regis Prograis is everybody saying that nobody want to fight Regis Prograis, right? But Matias been calling him out, and that's a fight that Regis Prograis ain't really, had or been seen interested in, right? And I was like, nah, you gotta cut Regis some slack, right? You know what I mean? But if a fighter is constantly calling you out, right, you can't keep calling yourself the boogeyman. Whether you feel like you will beat him, right? Whether a lot of people feel like you will beat him. If a fighter is constantly calling you out, right, we can't keep pushing that you the boogeyman. If this guy do want to fight you, this guy do want smoke. You know what I mean? He said Boots might as well fight one of them because after Bud and Crawford 2 times, it's most likely Virgil, Ellis, and others going to parlay for those belts. He said at the same time, I can't be mad at anyone not fighting his juicing ass. It's hard to fight a nigga when you know he cheat, and that's how it should be. Cheaters should get froze out. Yep, I agree with that, Teddy. But he ain't suspended in America, right? What he was doing, you know what I mean, got him suspended over there. But in America, he not suspended, right? He's at Ben should fight Villa or Crowley. My thing is, okay, so my thing is, right, if Ben go fight Villa or Crowley, right, I want to see Boots fight Villa or Ben, right? So if Ben go fight Villa or Crowley, who is Jaron Boots Ennis go fight, right? You know what I mean? I feel like, right, who he go fight? Jordanis Ugas? Boots got to fight Ugas, Villa, Conor Benn, guys who really want to fight, guys who calling them out. I think those the fights for Jaron Boots. And shout out my guy, God Body, Facts Over Feelings. Appreciate you slide through this thing, right? So y'all telling me y'all perfectly fine with Conor Benn constantly calling him out. He said Thurman and Ugas for sure. Thurman don't want to fight him. Thurman ain't fighting him right now. You know what I mean? Thurman ain't fighting him right now. You know what I mean? I'm talking about guys that want to fight, guys that said, I want this smoke, right? I like to see guys fight guys that want this smoke. I like to see guys fight guys that want to fight them. I like to see guys fight top fighters, right? It's only I'm talking. We strictly talking about the handful of guys, right, that called them out. Roach will be a good one. That one makes sense. I mentioned him earlier, right? But I'm talking about the guys who called them out, right? The guys we know that won't smoke, right? Not the guys who we think want to fight them, right? But the guys who we know won't smoke from him, right? The guys who we know won't smoke from him, right? And that was Speedy, but he just took a loss to Villa, right? So they put Villa in the mix. I want to see that because that fight will prove something, right? At this point, man, we want to see Jaron Boots Ennis prove, some of this stuff. Not saying that we don't believe it, but I do want to see him prove it. You know what I mean? We want to see you fight Speedy, Villa be Speedy, so you fight Villa. If you can't fight Villa, you fight Ben. You can't fight Ben, you fight Ugas. You know what I mean? I think it's time, and it sound crazy. Where I almost sound like a Jaron Boots Ennis hater. You know what I mean, or something like that. But that ain't it at all. It's like, bro, this is really. My bad, y'all. I got one. I got him. I got a message in there, but I digress, right? All right, what folks I talk about? Yeah, I want to see Boots fight. My bad, y'all. I want to see Boots fight somebody. You know what I mean? That won't smoke with him, right? I don't like seeing bullets. Right? I don't want to see. I don't want to see Jaron Boots Ennis get in the ring, right? With another guy like. I don't want to see Jaron Boots Ennis get in the ring. I don't want to see Jaron Boots Ennis get in the ring, right? Damn. I don't want to see Jaron Boots Ennis get in the ring right with somebody that's scared of him, right? I don't want to see Jaron Boots Ennis get in the ring with somebody that's gonna make Jaron Boots Ennis run laps. You know what I mean? I don't want to see Jaron Boots Ennis getting there with somebody, this less than Chuck Adesian went in there to survive versus Boots, right? He went in to survive. I think nonetheless, right? Nonetheless, that guy Conor Benn, right, going out on his shield. You know what I mean? That guy, your Daniel Ugas, is going out on his shield, right? Now, Blur Cobb to a less degree, right? Now, your Daniel Ugas and Conor Benn, I take on a higher level, right? I respect on a higher level than Blur Cobb, right? But Blur Cobb also called out, Jaron Boots Ennis, and he told him, to get his weight up, basically, you're not on my level, right? So you can't sell the boogeyman, right? When I know it's people that call you out, you know what I mean? It can't always be, you know what I mean? It can't always be, well, they don't really want to fight or they pump faking, right? Because all these guys not pump fake. I do agree that a lot of people don't want to fight you right now, or it don't make sense for a lot of people to fight you right now. That I do agree with. But I feel you, and he could do exactly, he could do whatever it is he want to do, right? He could do exactly what he want to do, right? But the thing is, when it get down to it, like, you're not gonna be able to continue to tell us, right? These guys don't want to fight you. These guys don't want to fight you. When you got Conor Benn, for the multitude of time, right? Didn't hit you up and said he want that smoke. He said, my opinion, Big should go after Eubanks again and get that behind him. That's what he said on shout out my guy AB to IT. AB to IT. Conor Benn went to social media, right? He went to his Twitter, right? He tagged both of them. He tagged Jaron Boots Ennis and Chris Eubank Jr., right? Conor Benn can't find a fight right now. Maybe he is getting froze out, right? But my thing is, you got to make it make sense for you. You got to make it make sense for you if you Jaron Boots Ennis, right? He got to come over here and fight you, right? So the fight gonna be over here. So it got to be on the up and up. You know what I mean? If you beat Conor Benn, that's a big thing. That's a big deal. You beat Conor Benn, that'll be the biggest fight on your resume. That'll be the biggest name and the biggest fight on your resume. I didn't say the best name. I didn't say the best fight. I said the biggest. That will be the one that holds the most impact. We know Sergio Lipinets will probably be the best, right? But because he's a smaller guy that came from a smaller division, that jump don't hold the impact that it should. You know what I mean? Conor Benn, especially coming off the steroids, actually being a top 5 ranked welterweight, right? You know what I mean? You just put him through strenuous tests, but him coming off the steroids, right? Him being a top 5 welterweight, that'll actually put you, that'll raise you, you know what I mean? That'll raise your level. That'll raise your notoriety level also. That'll give you a UK fan base that you don't get right now. It make more sense than it don't make sense to me if you asking me. Go on and get that Conor Benn head. The first, somebody go get Conor Benn name. Somebody go get Conor Benn neck. Somebody go get Conor Benn head, man. My thing is, if Chris Eubank don't want to do it, Chris Eubank may fight Liam Smith again, right? Eubank may fight Liam Smith again. Conor Benn went to his own Twitter. he went to Chris Eubank Jr. He said, "What's up, Chris Eubank? Are we gonna fight or what?" He said, "If I can't fight Chris Eubank Jr., then why not Conor Benn? Why not Conor Benn versus? Why not Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr.? It's a top 5 welterweight fight. You know what I mean? It's a top 5 welterweight fight. And when you really think about that, right, that alone, should be enough for Jaron Ennis to take this fight, man, right? You told Blood Cobb, he not ranked high enough, he not on your level. You told, your Dennis Ugas, he wasn't ranked high enough, he didn't have a belt at that time, right? This before he had the belt, right? He wasn't ranked high enough, he didn't have at your level. Conor Benn is ranked right where you at. Y'all basically in the same place. Whether we want to accept it or not, guys, right? You could like one more than the other, right? But they are ranked around the same area in every ranking system. They are top 5 welters, man. You know what I mean? I feel like you get even more credit. I feel like you would get even more credit for being Conor Benn right now because of the steroids. Oh, he coming out the steroids and Jaron still dust him up. Jaron dust him up and he on steroids. He dust up the juice head. Jaron knocked the nigga out on steroids. Jaron beat a nigga on steroids. You know what I mean? You get even more credit. You get even more juice for that over here in America, right? And you get the UK juice because the UK just love good fights. You go over, you knock out Conor Benn, those folks gonna love you. They either gonna love you or hate you, but they gonna remember you forever. They really gonna love you because you can talk all this stuff you want. Like when you go over there, them folks remember you forever. They follow you forever. Earl Spence got a lot of UK fans. Deontay Wilder got a lot of UK fans because of them Tyson Fury fights and sagas and the AJ stuff and all that. You know what I mean, bro? That's a good career move to go over there and take one of them hits. Every fighter who's anybody, every superstar fighter gotta going over to a different country story. Gotta going over fighting somebody's backyard story. You know what I mean? At some point, you gotta go over there and you gotta take somebody's stuff. You gotta take somebody's stuff as more popular as the UK got, right? Because UK boxing over here ain't always been as popular, right? It's starting to get more integrated as we get older, right? But as more of those people get goods and more of those people could come over here and capture belts, right? You go over there and you take their belts. Terrence Crawford, you know what I mean? Ricky Hatton and Floyd Mayweather was over here, right? But you got to get that UK name, whether it's over there, right, or whether they come over here. Their UK name, like that UK fan base follows you. You know what I mean? So whether it's over there or over here, you need that name. Honestly, I'm just real with you. Need that name. You need that. You need to dip over there at some point. You know what I mean? What's good, y'all? Appreciate you sliding through. Shut this man up. You know what I mean? He keep calling your name out. This ain't the first time that he didn't say something. You know what I mean? I believe that you got the goods. I know you the boogeyman, but you got to shut this dude up at some point. You got to shut one of these dudes up that's calling your name. And I ain't saying you can't or can beat neither one of them because I really don't think none of them beat you, right? But we can't keep pushing this. Nobody wants to fight you when Conor Benn has said it again, right? It makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense for the rankings. It's gonna make sense for your pockets. It's gonna make sense all the way around. I think you get more juice, you get more clout, you get more credit because of the steroid situation. I think the steroid situation kind of work in your favor, and I don't think it ain't nothing that he can't do. It just makes sense. You know what I mean? Damn it, man. What's good? My guy, y'all. Damn it, man. Appreciate y'all folks sliding through this thing. Glad y'all can make it. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. We ain't having us a boxing conversation, man. Conor Benn called out Jaron Ennis again, right? And he called out Chris Eubank Jr. He went on Twitter, right? You can check his Twitter out. This is his last tweet. You can go straight to his page. He said, Chris Eubank Jr., so are we making this fight happen or what? And then he said, if I can't get Chris Eubank Jr., and then he tagged Jaron Ennis. So he tagged the names in, so they saw it. Somebody told him they saw it or something. You know what I mean? He tagged the names in it, and he was like, "Oh, let's make this Jaron Ennis fight. It's a top 5 welterweight fight in the world." And I'm telling y'all, like, I agree with him. At this point, I don't see why not. You know what I mean? I don't see why not. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, Crush? That's where I'm at with it, right? Boots need an opponent, right? It's a big name opponent, right? He got a fan base, right? It's a winnable fight. It's a credible fight, whether we love Conor Benn or we love to hate Conor Benn, right? It's a real threat. People can't say it's a cakewalk. It's a pushover, right? Because Conor Benn can fight. Now, we got a question whether, he could fight with or without the juice. How long was he juicing? Did he just do that for Eubank or whatnot, right? There's those questions. But I think all that add even more intrigue to the fight. it's really a huge fight, especially for Jaron Ennis, right? It's a huge fight for both of them. You know what I mean? Right. He can't take him to the UK, right? Brick Top. He can't. It is a shame, right? I feel like that would work better, right? But you got to know, man, I was just saying, them UK fans, they travel, they follow. Floyd didn't fight Ricky Hatton in the UK, but they still followed that Ricky Hatton and Floyd Mayweather fight. This still was a huge fight. This still was a big deal. You know what I mean? So you just need that UK, you just need that UK opponent. You know what I mean? And this ain't the first time that Conor Benn called you out. So, you know what I mean? He constantly saying your name. Like, this ain't the first time he had his name in your mouth. You know what I mean? Dude, this ain't the first time that this dude had his name in your mouth, yo. You know what I mean? I'm going to say it again. This ain't the first time this dude had his name in your mouth. Like, you telling me, like, I feel like, I know you the best. I know he the boogeyman, right? Y'all telling me he the boogeyman and all that good shit. Right? I get it. I get it. I get it. You know what I mean? And I'm saying, like, this will be a perfect fight to prove it, right? And I ain't saying that he can't do it. What I'm saying is, yo, this is the perfect opportunity. Like, Earl and Bud got at least 2 fights coming. That's about a year away from now, at least. That's a whole nother year before one of those guys fight. That's a whole nother year before the belts become available. You know what I mean? You don't want to start to get that mantra around you that you playing it safe until the belts come free. You know what I mean? You don't want to start. He said he should tag Espinoza. You don't want to get that mantra around you that you playing it safe until you get a title shot. You know what I mean? Virgil Ortiz about to fight Stanonis, right? Boutier fought Stanonis. You know what I mean? Jamal James fought, Boutier, right? What's the other welterweight name? It's another welterweight that's up there in the mix. Young prospect is Virgil, Stanonis, Boots, Conor Benn. Is one more. I forgot his name. But he just had a fight. But basically what I'm getting at is everybody had a fight, right? Everybody had a big fight at welterweight, right? Stay with me. My bad, y'all. Stay with me. Everybody had a big fight at welterweight except for who? Let's just be real. A big fight except for Jaron Ennis, the prospects, right? The prospects. Virgil and Ortiz ain't had his, but Virgil then fought Mean Machine. Virgil then fought, Mo Hooker. Virgil then had some competition under that belt. Talk your ass off, right? No matter how you feel about Virgil, right? He got some fights under his belt, right? All the welterweight prospects, Stanonis fought Boutier, right? You know what I mean? All the prospects had they fight except Benn and except Boots, right? And those arguably, right? Some people feel like it's Virgil, right? Some people feel like it's Boots, right? The UK feel like it's Conor Benn. You know what I mean? So arguably, those the top 3 guys, right? He said Benn and Boots need to get it cracking. And that's where I'm at with it, yo. Let me put my goddamn man up there. I see my goddamn man. He said Virgil to tag Espinoza. He said, let's see his being contradiction. Facts. Call him on his bull stuff, yo. Call him on his crap, man. If Bozy them some kind of way here or somebody cussed to him some kind of way here, call him on his crap because he constantly saying Jaron Boots in his name. And I'm starting to believe him. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to believe him. You know what I mean? I'm starting to believe it'll be a great fight for Boots, okay? It'll be the biggest fight Boots has made up until this day. It'll be the biggest name. No, I didn't say the best right now, right? Because we could argue Lipinets is the best fighter. But some people feel like Lipinets is a blown up 40-pounder, right? Right? Some people feel like that you moved him up for him. That's why you beat him up like that. Some people feel like if Lipinets had more power, maybe he would have hurt you and beat you, right? Type deal, right? But Conor Benn will be your biggest fight to this day. Maybe not the best fighter talent-wise, but for sure the biggest, most credible fight you will have. This will be the most eyes ever on the Jaron Boots in this fight will be you versus Conor Benn because you'll get this side of the pond and you'll get the other side of the pond, right? You'll get both sides of the spectrum. Conor Benn, a huge name over there. The Benn name in general, Nigel Benn, Conor Benn, you know what I mean? Makes sense. And he keep calling your name. He keep calling for that smoke. And I say, you got to, man. I say at this point, man, you got to call his bluff. He tagged you on Twitter, bro. He tagged you in this. Man. At this point, you either got to call his bluff. He said his dad was a cheater too. Allegedly, though, his dad didn't get caught. Conor Benn, actually, true enough, y'all, Conor Benn got suspended because somebody made a decision to suspend him, not because he got caught doing something illegal. He popped dirty for something over here in America. In the UK said we go suspend you because he looked bad over here on the national scale, so they suspended him. He really ain't. He got suspended for stuff that they let other boxers fly by with, which is what Conor Benn was saying. They let Dylan White fly by with this. They let AJ fly by with this, right? But they made it a problem for Conor Benn because he got leaked out, right? You know what I mean? But his daddy never officially got caught for cheating. Conor Benn got suspended because somebody up top made a decision to make a lesson out to prove a point, right? And that sound like I'm defending him. And I say, it sounds like I'm defending him, right? But I'm not. Like the big heads just said they just came down on him as soon as it happened. They said, okay, boom, you in trouble, right? They didn't even give it time to work yourself out. You know what I mean? They just suspended him off top because it looked bad on the national scale. You know what I mean? But his dad never really got caught, right? On paper, he got suspended for PEDs, right? He did. He got suspended, so he got caught. His pops never really got caught. He's at his dad to that fight too. Yeah. See what I'm saying? Like Teddy, but Dylan White did that. Dylan White did that, right? None of them got suspended. That's what Conor Benn was saying. Conor Benn was saying, bro, this happened all the time. Why y'all suspended me? You know what I mean? Don't block him. Don't block him. You can shoot him. You can shoot him, Teddy. Don't block him, though. You know what I mean? Conor Benn was like, man, why y'all suspend me when this happened all the time? But I digress, right? That'll be a nice. I've been watching y'all go ahead in the chat. That'll be a nice look. That'll be a nice little fight. Let me see if I can pin this. Would y'all want to see Conor Benn versus Jaron Ennis? Because, bro, I will watch it. I will watch it, y'all, honestly. I will watch it. Shout out my brother Teddy. I will watch it, man. Bro, it just, like, controversy included. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. Controversy included make it even better, make it an even bigger fight on an even bigger scale. Is Conor Benn juicing? Is Conor Benn juicing? Is Conor Benn not juicing? Boots better be careful fighting this juice head. Man, Boots gonna knock him out. You know what I mean? You got the UK, man. Benn gonna knock him out. You know what I mean? I think it makes sense, man. I really do. It'll be a step up fight for both of them. It'll be a step up fight for both of them, man. It'll be a fight for both of them. You know what I mean? He said, well, remember when Rashidi said, well, he was offered to fight Boots, he might not get a good fight for a while. Yeah, in hindsight, that looked like a bad move for Rashidi, right? But my thing is, Conor Benn and Boots, they're bringing it back. That's a $1 million fight. That's a $1 million fight with no straps. Think about this. That's a $1 million fight with no straps. Benn versus Boots is a $1 million fight with no Benn versus Boots is a $1 million fight with no belts. That's at least a $1 million fight with no belts. They could get guaranteed $1 million a piece for their fight. Bare minimum. We're boxing it right now. We're boxing going with the zone and Showtime. They could get bare minimum easy, man, which would be their biggest paydays, right? Maybe Benn had, I think Benn had one for like 1.4 or something like that, right? Right. I think Ellis said they offered him like 300K or some shit like that. But then he said he took 300K for this fight. Ellis was like, yeah, exactly. This fight got me 300K. I'm fighting you, I'm supposed to get, type deal. So I think he got like 300K or something like that. And he was like, that wasn't enough. You know what I mean? And they was fighting it. They was fighting on the same card to boost the fight. They was fighting on the same card to boost their fight, and Rashida ended up losing. But them the fights I want to see though. I want to see him fight Ben. I want to see him fight Villa, or I want to see him fight Ugas. You know what I mean? Because those are the guys that called him out. And I think he, I don't think he lose to neither one of them, to be honest, right? But I think those would be interesting fights. Think that'll be good for boxing. Think that'll be entertaining to watch. Man, let me go back to day, my bad. He said Boots needs to tell. That Boots needs to talk about it. Just go. So you should have took that fight, but I can respect it. You want my scalp to boost your resume? You gotta leverage what you can. Yeah, facts. And I think style wise, it most definitely was a better fight than what we seen that night. Villa and Boots made a good fight style wise, right? But Chuck Adesian and I said Villa and Boots. Villa and Speedy made a good fight style wise, right? But Chuck Adesian and Boots, that fight was extremely lackluster. Right, that fight was extremely lackluster. Right, Boots need a good fight, a big fight. Boots need a good fight, a big fight to to get some of his juice back. From that, you know what I mean? Because that fight didn't have the best feedback. Take MMA was good. Appreciate you sliding through this thing, Tay. Gratitude to make it if y'all could hit that thumbs up for your boy when you're rolling on in. We're here having a 147 conversation, you know what I mean? Conor Benn, right? Again, because I made one of these EPs, a while back, right? Again, Conor Benn said that, he wanted that Jaron Boost any smoke, right? This time he said if he can't get Chris Eubank, right? Because it sounds like Chris Eubank, and what it sounds like is Chris Eubank may be about to fight Liam Smith again, right? Because Conor Benn reached out on Twitter and he said, so Eubank, what's up with this fight? Right? And then he said, if I can't fight Eubank, then what about Jaron Boost Ennis? A top 5, fight in the world. Meaning that, if you go check the rankings, Jaron Boost Ennis is ranked top 5. Conor Benn is ranked in the top 5. That's a top 5 welterweight fight. You know what I mean? I get it. Conor Benn not from here. I said that when the card was announced, they should have switched opponents. Villa had to change the power to test Boost facts. I want to see. That's the fight I want to see now. He one of the guys I want to see Boost fight. Villa, Conor Benn, Jordanis Ugas. You know what I mean? Of course, Keith Thurman, but Keith Thurman don't want to fight. You know what I mean? Boost. I know Boost want to fight Keith Thurman, right? Boost want to fight Earl. Boost want to fight Bud. That was probably his, his best competition, right? Keith Thurman would be good competition for him. Earl and Bud about to fight one another, right? So he can't fight them. Keith Thurman would be good competition for him, but Keith Thurman don't want to fight him, right? So what's the next best thing, man? You fight the guys that want to fight you. Villa, Conor Benn, Jordanis Ugas. You know what I mean? I don't want to see you fighting them on Chuck Adesian because they made you look bad when you get guys in there who just trying to survive, guys who was never trying to win, guys who just go run you around in circles. You know what I mean? Run you into punches every 2 rounds. You know what I mean? I don't want to see you do that. They make you look bad, right? They make the they look bad to the eye, right? You got to get in there with high level competition because high level competition ain't gonna do that. High level competition go in there, they go try to win, and if they don't win, right, most times, all times, they go on their shield. I mean, it's high level competition for work. You know what I mean? Somebody either get stopped or you get the towel thrown in, or you get 2 people that fight to the end. You know what I mean? That's how high level fights work. You don't get nobody that's settled for the loss, offering to run around, to the ring right now. They don't happen in high level fights. You know what I mean? Even when Keith Thurman is on the defensive, he's still offensive. You know what I mean? High level fight. You know what I mean? Conor Benn is a real threat. You know, that power is real. You know what I mean? That is a real thing. Your Daniels Ugas is your Daniels Ugas. You know what I mean? Former welterweight champion of the world. You know what I mean? He just Keith Thurman don't want to fight you. You know what I mean? You can't fight Erlen Bud. The next best options is Virgil, Conor Benn. You know what I mean? Your Daniels Ugas, Stanonis. Guys like that. Those are guys you need to. You need to be at. You know what I mean? Your peers. Somebody said earlier, that was perfect, man. Your peers. He said, I don't like how Boots, look down at all his peers, right? You know what I mean? It's gonna kind of start to look like, you don't really want to take no chances. Erlen Bud got at least 2 fights left in that deal. That's at least a year. You mean tell me for a year you still ain't gonna fight none of these guys? Stanonis and Bird to go fight each other, right? You know what I mean? Type deal. Y'all gotta do something, right? We ain't waiting on Erlen Bud no more. Now we waiting on y'all. The pressure is on y'all. And that's an EP in his own. You know what I mean? The pressure ain't on Erlen Bud. Now the pressure on the rest of the division. What y'all gonna do now that Erlen Bud tied up? You know what I mean? What y'all gonna do now that Erlen Bud tied up for you? I mean, it's time for y'all to start getting it, start getting it. And if you ask me, true enough, I think Conor Benn got the right attitude. I think Conor Benn got the right attitude. Let's mix it up. You know what I mean? But look though, don't you want to be the one, God body? I feel you, God body. I feel you, but don't you want to be the one? Because right now, right, it's question, right? It's question, right? Somebody go do it and somebody go get credit for it. Somebody go do it and somebody go get credit for that Conor Benn name. If you Jaron Ennis, it makes sense, right? You know what's gonna happen. We gonna be saying that right before we go in, God, but you know exactly what we gonna be saying after Jaron Ennis going there and he beat him, right? He beat Conor Benn on steroids. He beat the juice head. I tell you this, Canelo seemed to look a-okay. Jerry Miller came back and he been on a 3-fight win streak. All I'm saying is either they not on it no more, or they still on it. Okay. Either they not on it no more, or they still on it. But either way, right, they seem to be doing okay. You know what I mean? Maybe they might find out how to do it better. You know what I mean? Maybe they might find out how to do it better, right? But I feel like at this point, you know, you get it's still some credit to being Conor Benn, right? The first person that beat him, go get all the credit. After that, it's gonna be a joke. I dang sure don't want to see you fight him after somebody beat him. If he come back and he lose, then he done. But if he come back and you beat him, then you finished him. You know what I mean? You finishing Conor Benn, you gonna be able to say Conor Benn for the rest of your career. Right? I ain't saying he gonna be no Hall of Famer or nothing like that, but he gonna be a big name. You know what I mean? He is a big name, especially where he from. The name's gonna be remembered forever. True enough, in boxing, that being named forever, whether it's for the right reason or the wrong reason, right? But that's a boxing family. He said they don't get the 147 division. I ain't gotta be boring just because Erlen Bud get out of the belts. Bingo, and that's what I'm getting at, God body. That's what I'm getting at. Facts over feeling, aka God body. You know what I mean? They gotta mix it up. I like that. Stanonis and Virgil get it. They get it. Stanonis and Virgil get it. Right? They get it. It's time, man. It's time, man. Don't be waiting on. Don't be waiting on. Don't be waiting on. What I mean. Erlen Bud. It ain't no more. They holding up the division. Go there back and say they holding up the division. Now they ain't holding up the division. It's time for some shaking and moving. Now y'all know y'all got at least a year left before y'all go get any of them straps because y'all dang trying finna jump the lanes. I'm surprised Ben ain't went to go knock McKenzie out. He right there, easy pickings. He said, yes, 147 has been stalled out, waiting on Bud at. Right, he said McKenzie, easy pickings. Yeah, yeah. Maybe them promoters ain't trying to you know, maybe they ain't trying to, ruin their own product. You know what I mean? Maybe they ain't trying to ruin their own product. You know what I mean? I still got 10 on my bench. But I couldn't put them in today, no way. Brandon Lowe got 45. Further Chapman had 7. Josh Lowe got 3. Martinez got 2. He has still finished with 15. Okay, my bad. I'm looking at my stats. He's out of that Virgil fight. They pumped the brakes. Man, my thing is, man, it's really now I never. I'm gonna be real disappointed, right? I'm gonna be real disappointed if any of them, not just Jaron, right? This about being in Jaron, right? But I'm gonna be disappointed if any of them just keep taking Rudy Proof fights, bro, until the belts go vacant, and then snatch the vacant belt because you ain't gonna be able to fight a Rudy Proof for a vacant belt. Y'all gonna keep fighting Rudy Proofs until y'all literally have to fight each other. Y'all might as well go and start. Y'all might as well go and start the party now. You know what I mean? Y'all might as well go and start the party now. For real. Especially when you got this dude doubling and tripling down like he want that smoke. He said there was just another good 2023. You know what I mean? Even if they do it, man, at the end of the year, right? Because Jaron Boots Ennis probably finna have a fight, right? He probably got a fight coming up. From the time of his last fight, right? He probably already got something in the works, right? So that fight probably won't happen next for him. You know, I know Conor Benn, it probably will be Conor Benn next fight, right? Maybe Conor Benn will want it next, right? But Jerron probably got a fight coming up, right? Just to stay loose, right? But most definitely, like towards the end of the year, they most definitely could get it on. You know what I mean? If Conor Benn could find him a fight in between that. You know what I mean? But he trying to fight Eubank Jr., but look like Eubank Jr. ain't answering. I'm guessing if Eubank Jr. ain't answering, it's probably because he working on that Liam Smith rematch, right? That's where Chris Eubank Jr. mindset at right now. That Liam Smith Jr. does. You know what I mean? But I ain't gonna keep y'all in this thing too long, man. I just wanted to highlight y'all, about Conor Benn, what Conor Benn had to say about Jerome Booth. And he said, he basically said if he can't get the Chris Eubank fight, then why not make the top 5 fight between him and Jerome Booth Ennis? No matter how we feel about being right, man, this he didn't call Booth out multiple times, right? And he do got a point when it come to that. He do got a point when it come to that top 5 welterweight. This will be a fight between 2 top 5 welterweights. You know what I mean? 2 top 5 welterweight with names, right? 2 of the better top 5. I mean, 2 of the better welterweight prospects we got in the game, right? You know what I mean? To me, it makes sense all the way around, right? Okay, of course you gonna have testing, strenuous testing, right? Of course, right? But I feel like, man, all that controversy around the steroids and all that, and then on top of it being an entertaining fight, I think all this just go add to the fight. That's go add to what I mean, uh, the mystique of the fight. So I say, man, it ain't no reason to you know it ain't no reason to keep saying Fizzle was good. It ain't no reason to keep saying, man, these guys don't want to fight, right? Or it ain't no reason to keep pushing these prospect fights back, right? You got Virgil Ortiz and Stanonis throwing down, right? You had Stanonis throw down with Boutier throw down with Jamal James, right? Virgil Ortiz then fought Mo Hooker. Virgil Ortiz then fought Mean Machine. You know what I mean? Uh, the probably the 2 biggest names, right? 2 of the biggest welterweight prospect names, right? You can throw in Virgil, right? But Boots and Conor Benn, Virgil then fought somebody along with the majority of the rest of the welterweight prospects. For as good as they is, Benn and Boots the only 2 that really ain't fought. You know what I mean? One of their peers. They the ones that really ain't had, that big fight coming up yet. So why not y'all get in the ring and fight one another? You don't want to get left too far behind from Virgil. Because if Virgil beats Stanonis, then Virgil is working on the hellified resume right now. If Virgil beats Stanonis, it's gonna almost be some time to start putting respect on Virgil's name as far as his resume and him being and his ranking in the 147 division. Now we could say, Bud said Virgil turned down, a title shot with him, right? Virgil was extra young, so I can get him not wanting to get in there. You know what I mean? With Bud, Bud spilled the beans. Bud said Virgil the one that gave Sean Porter the mandatory, right? So I get that. I get Virgil not wanting to do that. I don't hold it against him, right? But Virgil has put together a pretty good goddamn, resume to be a 25, 26-year-old, you know what I mean, at 147, right? Virgil got some names on his joint, and if he beats the Nonis, there's gonna be another name on that joint. You know what I mean? So at some point, right, we're gonna have to, start calling, a spade is what it is, right? But Jaron Boots Ennis and Conor Benn, you get in there, Jaron Boots Ennis, you get that Conor Benn here, right? And I know, some people feel like, well, Conor Benn ain't nothing, he ain't better, right? That's your opinion. But when you talking about on the global stage, when you talking about where Conor Benn at, right? You talk about that name in general, that being name in general, especially where he at, right? People go tune in for that fight. People gonna know exactly who it is when you see it, right? And I think all that negative stuff that's gonna play a part in. Boots can use this MO in the press conference. Use this MO. You ain't gonna be no steroids this fight. You know what I mean? You get around the clock testing all that good stuff, man. I think that'll be good for Jerome Boots. And so I was saying, like, man, every fighter, right? Every fighter who becomes a superstar, they get their foreign name on their record. Whether it's a UK guy coming to be an American guy, or from our perspective, right, it's an American guy, being the UK guy, or a foreign guy, or vice versa, right? You got to get that pull. You got to get that name from their their other side, whether you do it in their country or whether you do it over here, right? Because especially in the UK, right, with this kind of being, those fans travel, those eyes travel. You know what I mean? And I think that'll be a great look for Jerome Boots Ennis as far as the rankings go. Two top five, two top five fighters. A great look for Jerome Boots Ennis as far as his notoriety and popularity go. Well known fighter. You know what I mean? Conor Benn, and I think it's a great fight for as far as entertainment and style value, right? He's not gonna have to run around the ring and find Conor Benn like he did his last fight, right? Conor Benn gonna be right there. He gonna be firing back, and it's gonna be some heat. You know what I mean on what Conor Benn throwing, or is it ain't gonna be no heat on what Conor Benn throwing? And what bigger or better way to find out than against a fight with Jerome Boots Ennis? What if Conor Benn going there? He knocked Jerome Boots Ennis out still, right? You know what I mean? Type deal. Who knows? You know what I mean? It's that kind of fight. You can at least get people to believe. And I know that press conference gonna be lit because neither one of them dudes afraid to say how they feel and say what they want to say, right? You know what I mean? But I ain't gonna keep y'all in this thing too long, man. I appreciate y'all folks sliding through, skin the hard way, some tea. This ain't the past, this ain't the future, but just the present. That's how you rocking. And I'm out. Love.